like I said, my name's Jennifer. I report for both On SI at Sports Illustrated and the Sporting News. So, big hockey reporter for them. So, super excited to talk to you about all things off campus and your new role. So, I guess just jumping right into things, I know you've been in the acting world for quite some time and obviously have experience preparing for a variety of roles. But when it came to Tucker specifically, what kind of went into your prep with learning the sport of hockey? And was there kind of like a specific team or player you followed to kind of help get into character or get familiar with the sport?
So yeah, prior to doing off campus, hockey was the sport I was least expecting to fall in love with. I was never really going to cross paths with hockey. And while I've absolutely fell in love with it. And during the time of training for the show and getting down to Vancouver where we shoot, the Stanley Cup playoffs were going on, and Connor McDavid was going and doing all of his stuff with his team. And Stephen Kalen, who plays Dean on the show, played juniors in where he grew up in Toronto. So he's very involved and knows hockey, Canadian born. And so he would always tell us that like Connor McDavid is like the LeBron, like Michael Jordan of hockey. And so we started watching him, his crossovers and everything. And we would try to emulate what he's doing when we were training. And it was just like watching and also Jack Hughes, Connor Bedard, these young guys that were coming into the league that you're just insane. And then Vinny, I can never pronounce his last name, but he plays for the Rangers now. Vinny
Yeah,
Iorio.
Trocheck.
Yes. And so he was one of the stunt doubles for our show. And so we actually got to talk to him and he got to help us a little bit when he was on set. And it was lovely. But we followed a lot of the young guys that were close to our character's age that were in the NHL and seeing how they move and being like, this is how you should be moving. So it was lovely. Yeah.
Awesome. And then kind of building off of that, I personally have also had to try on like hockey gear and have had to, dabble with experiencing that for another group I work with. And I guess, I kind of know it's heavy gear. It's kind of hard to, deal with. So can I ask, what was it kind of like acting while being in full gear and pads? And how did you kind of balance staying in character while also being in like full equipment?
It's funny. It was actually acting and all that was, we're on the ice rink. We for like 12 hours on a hockey shoot days. And I wasn't expecting to be that hot, like that sweaty in like such a cold environment. You get kind of used to how like heavy everything is and it makes you feel more sturdy, you know? So like falling's great, it's fine, you feel padded or whatever. But yeah, it was very easy to stay in character because it felt more like you're putting on a costume in a sense of like it's the same thing of I grew up playing basketball. It's like you lace up your shoes, you're good to go. Now you can go on the court. Is that it felt right for to actually wear the equipment, to understand what it's like to hold that equipment on your shoulders and everything, and have skates on, and to figure out what type of style you like to do your sock tape, and to whatever you're doing and making those character choices help to get into character, which is lovely. Yeah.
Awesome. And then one thing that was super cool for me was I did get to watch the entire full first season already. So I do know that
Amazing.
yes, so I do know that you and Tucker did a really good job of like making me laugh as I was
Mhm.
watching the show. So, but what was it kind of like blending such like a fun and humorous role with also such like a physical and tough sport of hockey?
Oh, it was wonderful. It was a privilege to be able to find the common ground. And also I grew up with a bunch of athletes and there's some of the funniest guys that you'll meet, the goofballs of a sports team. And so it was fun to find that in Tucker in the sense of how he cooks for everybody and how everybody kind of like brotherly picks on him a little bit. It was fun to find that common ground of a star athlete that was so 2 feet in the ground, but also is not taking himself too seriously right now. So making light of everything and not holding on to everything loosely. It was very nice to find. But also playing just a comedic character and finding Tucker's motherly instincts and stuff was very engaging and fun. Yeah.
And then last serious question for you is I did see that season two has already been announced. Now that you
Yeah.
kind of have one season of like the hockey acting and like the hockey experience under your belt, is there anything you're going to be doing, preparing hockey wise differently for season two, like going into
Yeah.
that?
So we had started training about a month ago, uh, for a hockey boot camp prior to shooting the beginning season two. And they're having us work on we could skate a little bit backwards at the beginning of the first season, but now we were actually able to full on scrimmage and do our times and everything and rotations and all that. And I can now somewhat skate faster backwards than I can forwards and pick up and do backwards crossovers and everything and get going, and it's great. um but yeah, it's just gonna make the going into season two, you have more confidence of being like, you can play hockey, you can skate, so it's nice.
Okay, and then fun questions for you that are more kind of like social media driven for when the show comes out. Please describe in vivid detail what it was like playing hockey with a turkey. I really want to know like just everything about that.
Oh, so the turkey, it was like this prosthetic that was like, it was a magnet. So when I dropped it on the ice, it just shattered. And so it was weird because it was easy to Michigan the whole thing, to pick it up with the stick and then flip it on the toe of the stick. But it was I don't know, it was a funny day because all of us we dropped the turkey, and then between sets we'd just be passing a turkey leg around, and we're like, what are we doing? Well, it was great. I have so many pictures about it, but yeah, it was awesome.
And
Yeah.
then your favorite fruit.
My favorite fruit? Ha. Ha, that's a good question. I'd say I love watermelon. Recently beginning a dragon fruit, but I'll say for Tucker's point, I'm gonna say a kiwi. I don't think he
Okay.
wanted the kiwi to go away at the very beginning, that little tiny thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how much do you cook in real life? And do you have any signature dishes that you make?
So that's what's so fun. I've never said this in an interview yet, but I'm actually I'm really good cook. I cook all the time. Brown sugar bourbon ribeye steak. I make some good hoisin shrimp. I make some good like hot honey chicken. Make really good Jamaican jerk wings. I cook, and I've been getting better. My favorite dish to cook for my friends is this candied the top sirloin strips with like sweet potatoes and all that, and it's great. I love one of the first things we did as a cast on our first weekends, and when we were shooting, we went to Antonio's house and I brought a bunch of food and I cooked for everybody, and it was the most Tucker thing ever. But like that's one of the things I connect with Tucker a lot. I cook for all my friends, family, everything. So yeah.
Okay, wait. So like following up on that, was any of like what happens in the show chef wise like inspired by you? Or like
Yeah.
was that
Yeah,
just like a happy coincidence?
there was a I told them that I there was the scene in episode 5 with the turkey when I'm cooking with the gravy, trying to get everything done. I told Erica that I having the gravy on the thing being so sporadic and stuff, and talking to my mom and getting everything to go well for Thanksgiving, and just the kind of the vibe of it all was something that we really worked together on. But a lot of it was me wearing the pink apron at certain moments, and even in scenes where it's around and using it as a prop. I was like, I always wanted to have it with me because I have my apron at home that is hung up on my mom's kitchen that she never touches. It's always there. I have one. It's not pink, but I have an apron. But yeah.
Okay, well, those were all the questions I had for you, unless there was anything else you wanted to add about Tucker before I stop the recording.
No, it's great. I'm good. Thank you for asking these questions. Great.